Well, it is Thanksgiving Day in the United States of America and also at Sravasti Abbey, and the smell of pizza is making us all feel very thankful for our lunch today. So I wanted to, even when we have Buddhist holidays, we talk about the background of what those are, and so I thought it'd be interesting to do some research on the background of this one and see how much of a Buddhist holiday it is, because we can make it that. But, you know, so I was in elementary school half a century ago. It's been a long time. I don't know what they still teach. But what we learned was that the Pilgrims, looking for religious freedom, fled England, landed at Plymouth Rock, had a hard winter. They had a very good help from the local Indians. How do you say Wampanoag tribe? Wampanoag. I'm not sure I'm saying it right, but anyway, the tribe still it exists. And that we've been having Thanksgiving ever since. And I learned that that's really not true. Lots of it's not true. That in fact the Pilgrims did land in 1620 in December in a very, very tough winter, but they didn't land at Plymouth Rock. It was too sandy for the boat to land there. They landed at what is now Provincetown, for one thing. So it was a bad winter. They'd lost about half the people on the boat on the way over, and then they landed in the winter, so they couldn't plant anything. So they were really completely dependent on the help of the native tribes that were there, who helped them a lot. And so the next fall, they had learned to plant crops. They had had an abundant harvest, and it was a tradition both in the Wampanoag tribe and in Europe to have Thanksgiving kinds of festivals or feasts. And so it seemed like a good thing to do, to celebrate this that they had survived for the year. And so they said that there were 91 natives who came to help and do this celebration. One historian I read said, we talk about the Pilgrims being heroes, but that's not who the heroes were. The heroes were the Native Americans. The heroes were the Indians. And so it was a 3-day feast, and then it didn't happen again for something like 50 years. Right, 50 years. So 50 years later, 1676, a day of Thanksgiving was held in Charlestown, Massachusetts, partly in recognition of the colonists' victory over the heathen natives. So the relationship between those kind beings who had helped that first bunch of settlers 50 years later had, I could say, just deteriorated dramatically. So like 100 years later, in 1777, George Washington, 1789, George Washington, the president then, proclaimed a national day of Thanksgiving, and it wasn't a very popular festival, and a few other presidents had them, and it died out. And then there was a woman who was, for 40 years, talk about interesting way to spend one's precious human life, Sarah Josepha Hale was a magazine editor who wrote editorials and solicited all kinds of support over a 40-year period to make Thanksgiving a national holiday. And so in 1863, in the worst of the bloodiest years of the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln declared it a national holiday, and it became an institution. Franklin Roosevelt changed the date to make the Christmas shopping season a little longer. He backed it up into November. So, and then it was changed again. So it has become really a tradition, an annual tradition in the United States since 1863. So there's not much kind of Buddhist about that, but what I was thinking was, if the Pilgrims had, as a part of their spiritual practice, meditation on the kindness of others, what would this nation be like? What if, in addition to thanks to Almighty God, who you can certainly want to credit that if that's your belief, they also gave tremendous thanks to the natives who helped them? They recognize the kindness of those beings. They recognize the kindness of the 5 deer who laid their lives for that particular feast. They recognize the kindness for the fowl that Governor Bradford sent everybody out to go shoot and kill and bring back. If we had had as a part of our national consciousness a meditation on the kindness of others and how we're supported by sentient beings in everything that we do, what kind of festival would we be having in our country, in the world today? So, okay, so we have, this is 400 years of history, 500 years of history behind us, almost 500 years. But there's no reason why we can't make Thanksgiving Day a day to celebrate the kindness of others and to really reflect on everything that we have that comes from people that we know, people that we care about, the kindness of people who are complete strangers who provide things for us. Whatever you're having for lunch today, and people out there will probably not see this till Friday, but whatever leftovers you're eating, where did that come from? What sentient beings were involved? How many hands, and for you meat eaters, how many bodies were involved in providing the sustenance that's getting you and us through the day? So if we think about that, we spend time really reflecting on how we even can eat because of the virtue we created in past lives. How do we create virtue? Independence on other sentient beings. So it's not even this life sentient beings that we want to thank. We have sentient beings from all of our past lives who have kept us going, kept us alive, have taught us. And for those of us who are watching this, who have brought us to the Dharma, who have been able to give us teachings so that we can go, oh, people were kind. Let's give thanks to that. That's kind of a radical thought. And we're so fortunate that we have been able, not because, personally it didn't occur to me until I was taught it. And so to be so grateful for that opportunity to really learn to begin to recognize the kindness of others and make that our festival of Thanksgiving.